lot of truth in that.
Yes, there is.
Sometimes
Yes,
we beg so hard for God to save us, and then you get the big head.
That's right.
Think we're really important to God. We're really, and we are, but we're not to think any highly of ourselves than we ought to. We're supposed to have a good opinion of ourselves, but not to think more highly of ourselves than we ought to.
Yeah.
The 23rd Psalm is a very short psalm, but it's very powerful, and
Yes, it is.
probably one of the most read psalms of all of them, really, the most popular anyway. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pasture. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. You know, salvation is a personal thing. It's between you and God. I prayed for both my girls and the grandchildren when they came along, and now the great-grandchildren, but my prayers couldn't save you as an individual.
That's right.
I could pray for God, or even to break your heart if He had to bring you down to where He could work with you. But until it becomes personal to you, until you can actually say, the Lord is my shepherd, it's just words. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. You know, we're compared to sheep. And sheep are some of the dumbest animals in the world. A horse, if he gets out, or a dog, they can find their way back home. But a sheep will just keep wandering and wandering and go right over a cliff.
That's right.
Unlike his cousin the goat, he's not very sure-footed. With all that fur, if he gets on his back, he can't get up. But you make me to lie down in green pastures. Lead me beside still waters. You know, a sheep is so scared of running water, it won't drink from it. It would starve to death if it didn't have still water. The Lord looks out for our every need. He restoreth my soul, and oh, how I need it sometimes.
That's right. That's right.
I look forward to coming out here. I don't know about how the rest of you get along, but I get empty during the week, and especially when I was working in that place that wasn't nothing but a miniature Sodom and Gomorrah. Bless God, you could have got anything you wanted in there. If you wanted a gun, you could get one, a $2 pistol or whatever that was hot off the streets. If you wanted drugs or women, bless God today, anything was there and was very readily available. But I'm going to tell you something. I had a spirit in me that kept me when I couldn't have possibly kept myself.
That's right. That's right.
I was a weak creature and still am. I've been trying to preach for 45 years and I still haven't learned how. I still get butterflies in my stomach when I get up here. I still get nervous. After 45 years, you'd think a man would get over that. But I'm glad I never have. I'm glad I know where my power comes from. I'm glad today that the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. It's His good pleasure to give us the kingdom that He went away and prepared for us. He said, I'm going away to prepare a place for you, but I'll come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. That's a powerful promise. Bless God today. We're going home one of these days. He's going to come in a cloud of glory, and we're going to meet Him in the the air, and so shall we everly be with the Lord. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Bless God. When I would go too far to the left or maybe to the right, He's there. Come to me. Come unto me, all ye ends of the earth, and be ye saved. For I am God, and besides me there is none other. Take my yoke upon you. Woo! My yoke is easy, my burden's light, and I'll give you rest. Bless God, there's a day of rest coming.
There is.
I don't get a lot of rest anymore. Seems like with the aches and pains of this life, when old age creeps upon me. The Lord is my shepherd. He leadeth me. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. And I've told you about the time, somebody asked me one time, had I ever felt the hand of God? I said, well, it was either the hand of God or an angel. And I'll declare a couple of times, Brother Chris, something has saved my natural life. I told you about the time in the plant where, without going into a lot of detail, the hydraulic coil spring had to be compressed with about 120 pounds of pressure to get it into place. And the boy next to me started the nut and he cross-threaded it. And it only had about a couple of threads holding it. Tell anybody, just let it come on down the line. And I was there going to do my job, and I've been over it like I always did, and I heard something snap. And my natural instinct would have been to raise up. But honest to God, I felt a hand on the back of my head would not let me raise up. That spring would have took my head off if I would have stood up. Bless God today, God wasn't done with me. I wasn't about 30 years old. God was not through with me. I still had a sermon or two to preach, a song to sing maybe or whatever to His honor and glory, not to me. But I bless God today. He is still my shepherd and He's still leading me. Woo. He prepares the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You know, even naturally so, the shepherd watching the sheep in the old country would go along and there were some weeds that were poison that would make the sheep sick. And they'd go along and they'd pluck them up and throw them in the fire so the sheep wouldn't eat them. God's still watching after His sheep, and I'm talking about us. Woo. He prepares the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You know, I had a ministry right in the plant where I worked. God never did tell me to quit my job to become a preacher.
That's right.
And I've known some that have. I had a foreman who worked in the plant there. He wasn't actually my foreman, but I knew him. We talked sometimes. He actually gave up his good paying job to go to Texas to a seminary to learn how to preach. I don't know how he turned out or what became of him. But God never told me, quit your job. Apostle Paul worked with his hands that he could provide for himself and have a little left over to give to somebody in need. And that's the way it ought to be. Bless God today. Seems like anymore you turn the television on and these preachers are harping about tithing. Why?
I want to hold on to that one.
Oh, Lord.
You
know, it all belongs to God.
That's right. He don't want 10%.
He don't want just 10% of it. He wants all of it. He wants you to give it. Just lay it all into His hands and let Him bless it. That prepares the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. I used to keep a little Bible laying on my work stand there on the line. Seemed like that offended something. The fact that I didn't curse and swear and go out and drink beers and chase around after the women in the parking lot. That condemned them.
Yes, it did. You better believe it did.
And they would let me know. Yeah, you read the Bible, you think you're better than we are. I said, I don't know what. I've done to make you think
They
that.
were the ones that thought you were better than they were.
I am. And a lot of them, I guess, didn't know that I was a preacher. Most of the people that really knew me knew that I preached on the weekends. I drove, and it was customary back. There were 13 old regular Baptist churches in Michigan, and I visited every one of them. Down in Ohio, Indiana, and I'm not bragging. I'm thankful that while I was young, God blessed me. Gas was cheap. I remember Carol when she was about 12 years old. I was working 10, 12 hours a day, and then I'd be going on the weekend to church somewhere. Brother Ron or Earl Hill or somebody would go with me, and Carol said it's like not having a daddy. That hit me right in the heart. We started taking them with us. My wife and the kids a lot of times did their homework on the back seat.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was a pony at that church I visited in Indiana, and they always liked, and that thing was fat. They kept feeding it bread. We'd have dinners, and but it would always come to the fence, and they liked that. And God made a way. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That's King David like that. Even though he messed up a time or two, how many of us have? I sure, they keep harping on that senator from Alabama. Something he did 40, 50 years ago. I wouldn't want you going back that far in my life. There's a time or two.
Yeah, wouldn't want it. Wouldn't want to expose.
I wouldn't even want you going back a month or two.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mess up sometimes.
Right, absolutely.
Not that I go out drinking or
Press forward.
chasing women. I told them that the church down in Florida, I said, I got too old to catch them anyway. It wouldn't be too good to try to chase women. But bless God today. I love the Lord, and I love that woman right there.
Yeah.
We've been together. Christmas Day will be 55 years. And God used a 15-year-old girl to turn my life around. And He's still doing that. He did it with you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Whew. And I had to repent over that. Dad had a reputation that, whew, Rachel has been baptized. We walked the water with her when she was 14. And I found out she was dating Shad, and that bothered me. But God got a hold of me, and He said, that's the first time He ever called me Larry. He'd always called me son before that. But He said, Larry, don't you forget where I brought you from. Don't you forget that you were just as evil. Bless God today. But you were sneaking about it. Nobody knew what you were doing. Dark 30 or whatever. Bless God today. God not only saved him, I kept praying and praying and praying. But God's made a preacher out of him, and I just didn't hear him as anybody.
Yeah,
Bless God today. And you're another one, son. Bless God. I thank God for both my grandsons. But I prayed more for you than I did for him. And that's just the way life is. But I'll declare it to you. Sometimes it ain't the boy that, like the prodigal son, went out and did all the evil. The one that stayed home was full of pride and jealousy. He never gave me a fatted calf to kill for me and my friends. But I'll declare unto you, God knows your heart, and He loves you today in spite of it. He loves us warts and all, and we've all got them. As long as I'm in this body, I need your prayers. I need your love. And I look forward to coming out and just being with you every weekend. I love to be around God's people.
I love being in our little church.
And I'm thankful for our little church, this little building. And I'm thankful for the lively stones that make up the church. It's not the building, it's us. I being in the way the Lord led me. That's what Eliezer said. That was Abraham's servant. And he sent him out to find a wife for Isaac. That's another sermon, and I felt good, and I think,
Done
wow,
well. Done well.
I really didn't want to get up here this morning.
That's right.
But I guess that's the best time
That is.
to get blessed when you can get yourself out of the way and let God be God and just let us realize that we're just humble little creatures, and when we've done all that God has commanded us to do, just consider yourselves unprofitable servants.
That's right.
Because it's all about Him. It's the power of God that works in us, that makes us the hands and the feet of God, and gives us a mind to help families, not only at Christmas, but throughout the year. Whenever you see somebody that needs a hand up, a helping hand,